All right, here we are. So we gonna work on this first. The reason I say we're gonna work on this first is because of the fact that I want to see how many people are gonna show up before the fact that I do the Kahoot. Because when I tried to do this earlier today, I got very, very upset because nobody showed up. What broke down? Dear God, I just started and you're already here. Go back. Y'all are not the chosen ones. Anyway, let's see. Do I have the lights on yet? Yes, I do. Okay, cool. Holy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say. Oh, that is priceless. Was it a massive breakdown or was it one of those like minor Ford problems that like it's easy fix? Like but like for some reason you have to tear out like the wheel, the rim, the suspension and everything else because the fact that Ford makes their vehicles so complicated to work on that's why I hate them. All of our Chevys kind of gotten that same way now too, so oh my god. And I mean that like literally like I think it was my friend's Chevy. I think it was the Chevy that it might have been the Ford that my other friend had. I can't remember which one it was, but I do know that one of them they had to change the oil in it. And in order to get to the oil pan now to empty it, you had to take the wheel off in order to get to the oil pan. True story. And I'm like, dude, who designs these vehicles? Hey, that turbo was just ready to it was just ready to go, man. It's okay. At least it wasn't something like, the transmission blowing up or like something very important. The turbo's fixable, I hope. I don't have a turbo in mine, so I don't have that issue. Mine's just pure raw engine power. Of course, mine hasn't ever hauled hay bales before either, so it's like one of those things. I imagine though you had traffic like the wazoo on you. Dang. Fords are reliable, I'll give them that, but like when it comes to working on them, I'd much rather prefer like an old Chevy. Like when I looked under the hood of my brother's, he had an old Ford, and I looked under the hood of his, and I was looking at like, and it was basically the same year model as my truck. I looked under the hood of his thing, and I was like, I would not want to work on this. Like, even in, like, I know my other friend, the one that decided to play chicken with a tree with his new Ford Ranger. I would tell that story, but it's highly exaggerated from my perspective sometimes. I'll explain the story here in a second. He got a new 2001. What was it new? It was sitting in a field forever. He got a 2001 Ford F-150. It was a crew cab, smaller bed than mine, and he showed me the engine under the thing, and I'm like, oh my god, I would not want to try and work on this. Like, that is just like how different Ford is compared to Chevy in 2001. So just imagining how much different they are now. And I've looked under the hood of like a 2010 Chevy compared to like a 2012 Ford Edge. I'd much rather try and work on the 2010 outside than I would the 2012, and that's a 2-year difference. What was his grandpa's? It was his grandpa's Ford, so I mean, I guess you could say yes, to a point, it was free. And we're not going to talk about Toyota because Toyotas and Nissans are for wusses. Real men buy Dodge, Ford, and Chevy because we're not afraid to fix our shit. Like, I get the whole reliability of a Toyota, don't get me wrong, but I would much rather have my 2001 that's sitting outside and have to fix every damn part in the thing by the time, um, how do I put this? By the time that I transfer it to somebody else, which would be my little brother if he ever starts driving, than to own a Toyota and the only thing I ever work on, maybe, might be changing the oil. And here's why. I will learn more on how to fix a vehicle if I have to fix one rather than never having to touch one. I mean, I get it, and if somebody told me that they worked in like a business sector, like my pastor, that's what he does during the day. He travels a lot. I would honestly like give him I would give the suggestion of get a Toyota, something reliable. Okay? But if you're hauling stuff, or if, you need something arguably reliable, but it can haul stuff that other trucks may not be able to do, I hate to admit it, but I would probably recommend Ford. Ford is cheaper. Their vehicles tend to be, you know, they tend to last a little longer with the appropriate amount of care. I say the appropriate amount because not everybody takes care of their vehicles very much, like I do with my GMC. But honestly, like, if we're talking hauling anything, we want a diesel, I'm going with a Cummins, which means I'm going with a Dodge. I'll deal with the transmission issues, but I will get a Cummins. I won't get nothing else. Now, if I could put a Cummins in a Chevy, oh, I'm sold. But I won't have a Duramax, and I won't have whatever it is Ford decides to put in their stuff either. I will take a Duramax. Wait, hold on. What you say nowadays? You can't work on your own truck. Newer trucks, like 2025. Yeah, I know. Because nowadays, and I agree with you on that World War II. Nowadays, the newer trucks you can't touch because if you were to go and screw something up and you bought it from a dealership, like let's say if I went today, if I had the money in hand and I went today and I bought me a brand new GMC Sierra, brand new, 2025, whatever, 2024, 2025, something like that, 2026 if they had one. And I got it. And I drove it for, I don't know, let's say I drive it for a month and then something breaks on it. And I'm like, oh, I can fix this myself. And then I go in, I fix it, but then I break something else and I take it to the dealership. They're most likely going to tell me that they can't fix it since I screwed with it. And it's like, it's like, fine, then tell me how to fix it. I'll be the first one to tell you, I can change a tire. Hell, I just recently learned how to change oil in my truck. I know how to take a battery out and put a new one in, even in the horrible situation of my truck. My truck has like the worst. I love my 2001, but that is the one thing that I can honestly say that I hate trying to do in my truck is take the battery out. I had to take my truck to the auto parts store to get them to put the brand new battery I had bought in the truck because the fact I didn't have the appropriate tools to do it. I got so mad at myself. I'm like, damn it. Because it wasn't because of the fact I couldn't do it. It was because of the fact I didn't have the tools I needed to do it. My dad has so much crap in the back of his truck in that teeny tiny little toolbox that he mounted. I'm not even joking. He mounted like an S10 type toolbox inside of the GMC because of the fact that it had sentimental value to him because I think his dad gave it to him or something like that. And he mounted it on some wood. I'm telling you, and it had screws in it and all, but the screws have long since went out on them. Like they're gone and now, and it's just sitting there now. Like it just doesn't move. But it's sitting on top of those things, and I've been wanting to get a new one that's actually big enough to fit in my truck so I can put more crap in it. And they're just so expensive to find. I mean, I could get one off a marketplace, but then there's the how am I going to get it in my truck issue. So, there's that one too. But, again, where was I going with this point? Oh yeah, I was talking about changing the tires and stuff. I can do all that stuff, but I don't think honestly that I could find the oil pan. I don't think I could change the oil. I think the only thing I could probably maybe do with one of the modern trucks is change the tire. You want to know why? Because everyone is so concerned you're talking about getting a new bumper for your 6.0. I gotta get a new front and rear bumper and the bumper mounts for my truck because and I was talking to the mechanic that I use and I asked him, I said, what would I have to do to fix the bumper? And he's like, well, you'd have to get a new bumper and new bumper mounts. I'm like, okay, cool. How much would that cost me? He goes, because of the chrome that you have on your bumper, the bumper itself is $1,200. I said, yeah, I'll wait. That's just $1,200 for a bumper, and that's not even including the rear one. But I did feel a little bit better about how badly my bumper hangs because today I had a truck go by me going the opposite direction. And I thought my truck bumper was hanging off. Dude, this one, the guy that I passed, his looked like it was hanging on by like some needle and thread. Like it was like hanging on for dear life. And I'm like, well, I don't feel bad about my bumper now. But there's honestly so much I want to do with my truck. But at the same time, I don't want to mess with it because of the fact that it's not really mine. my name isn't on the documents or anything. And, I've been kind of talking to my pastor about it. And he's like, well, was your mom married to your dad when he died? And I'm like, no, unless they secretly got remarried. No. And he's like, well, then in that case, the truck is rightfully yours because you're his oldest descendant or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but do you actually think I'm gonna risk having my mom hate me for all eternity because of the fact that it was another GMC World War II. You're fine. It was like one of the sporty looking GMCs that I passed that had the bumper hanging off, and I'm like, yeah, at least my truck don't look like that. Okay, dude, you're too slow. Move. Don't worry, it wasn't a Ford. To be honest, most of the Fords that I see down here, like, they're either very well kept up or some child has gotten it and squatted it, and I'm over here. And the bad thing is, I see it the same with Chevys, and I'm just like, I saw one at the gas station the other day, and I wanted so badly to walk over there and just like ask them, hey, how's your gas mileage? Because I bet mine's better than yours with that setup. Or say something like, hey, you forgot half the lift kit or lowering kit. I didn't want to get punched in the face, so I keep my mouth shut, shake my head, and get my gas and go on about my business because it ain't worth it. But I'll tell you now. Alright, a lot of people will tell you the Duramax engine is a great engine for Chevy and all. Give me a Vortec any day, I will be the happiest human being. Because that's what's in my truck now. And I love that thing. I love my Vortec. My friend who owns a Ford, alright, he has said numerous times, and I honestly, I don't believe that he's right. I just think the Vortec is just that good and just that powerful. I've passed him before and stuff, and he goes, dude, your dad had to do something to that engine because that engine runs a lot better than most of the Vortex I've ever heard of. And it's like, my dad didn't touch. I asked a guy and I squatted, cat eye, where's the other lift at? And his girl laughed at it. And see, guys like us that don't like lift kits, see, the one thing that gets me about like these guys that do the lift kits, they think the girls love it. Girls hate it. And as somebody, I can't remember who it was, somebody put it away that it was hilarious. Somebody said that at one point it looks like a female dog taking a squat to take a piss. So somebody and immediately people started referring to the people that have squatted vehicles as pussies because that's what they are. I mean, don't get me wrong, would I like to raise my truck up a few inches? Yes, I'd love to do that for one reason. I want to get me foot a footstep or whatever they call them things to put underneath my doors. Just for that reason, okay? And other than that, I don't want to put any bigger tires on it or nothing. And I'm not talking about like let me get a whole foot inch or a whole foot lift kit or something. Give me like a I don't know, 4 or 5 inches, and then I could mount that on there. Of course, I also want the bug deflector on the hood. I want the weird things that go on the sides and all. I want to make the truck look good, but I don't want to make it look like a 5-year-old bought it and said, "Look at what I can do." You know? You want to know why you smoked him though? You've got weight. The only thing he's got is no downforce. I will say this, all right? I know I talk trash about Ford, and it's not the older Fords that I hate. I love the 2001, except for them horrid tail lights that they put on them. And I love certain models newer than that. But I do not like the idea of trying to work on them. And I kind of got a chuckle the other day because there was like an old, and I mean old Ford broke down in in the trash dump parking lot. I kind of chuckled to myself and drove off because it looked like they were trying to fix it anyway. You can't, like, if I'm being honest, World War II, I would be interested in seeing if your 6.0 or whatever could beat my truck because I know that mine is not a V6, it's a V8. But I wouldn't challenge you for two reasons. All right. One, yours is modified, which would mean that it would be like cheating for you. And two, my transmission doesn't like it when I get the RPMs above like 4,000. Like I get it above there and the transmission just starts acting really weird and it doesn't want to shift. And I'm like, yeah, I got to be careful with how I drive it. Give me a second. Ah, What? No. I love the fact, not trying to hate on you, World War II, but you're trying like very, very hard to justify beating a guy that had a completely stopped truck. I'll tell you what, you want to race? Go buy a completely stopped 2001 Ford F-150 and we can talk. I'll let you put a V6 in it, or a V8, excuse me. I love the fact that you're like somewhat bragging about how many miles your truck has on it. My truck's been to Texas. My truck's been to Texas, I can tell you that, because that's where it originally came from. I still got the sticker on it from where it was bought in Texas. But see, World War II, you talk about that he was being cocky. That's where you show that you're better than he is and you walk away. And just so you know, even if you did buy a 2001 stock Ford F-150, I wouldn't race you because it's not worth me tearing up my only truck trying to prove myself to a child when I have nothing to prove to begin with. Maybe it was the turbo. Man, this is like I-20 all over again. I ain't got time for this. Y'all gotta move. Come on. I got what? How many exits? Three, four? Yeah, four more exits. Not that. No, that doesn't exist anymore. Wait, when you said it blew up, did you mean that it like blew to pieces? I thought it just meant that it just kind of crapped out on you. Dear Lord, kid, how hard have you been running that truck? Or better yet, the better question is, why were you gunning it? Because let me tell you, I've done that. I'll be the first one to admit I have gunned my truck before, and well, that's how I know about the transmission not liking it when I get it to 400, 4 and 5,000 RPM because the fact that that happens. Like it'll go there and then it'll just kind of sit there, and it'll take it a little bit before it finally shifts into the next gear. The transmission needs to be replaced, but I'm gonna run the run it until I can't run it no more, so to say. I wonder if Chris wants to do the Kahoot or not. I was waiting on Chris to get in here so we could do the Kahoot, even if he's the only one to join. I don't exactly know. I don't exactly know what that means. World War II, so I don't know. And yes, Crusader, I'm doing a Kahoot. I don't know if Chris is gonna join though. Okay, dude, come on now. Because Chris is the one that was like begging me to do it. Okay, why are we taking forever? The Kahoot will be after I deliver this load, if you guys are gonna join and not waste my time. Hey, World War II, isn't that particular truck the one that you told me the other day that nothing has broke on it? I think it's reached the age where everything's gonna break on it now. The only thing is, you say it's made it that far without a single thing breaking on it. So now everything's gonna break on it at once. Trust me, that's exactly why I prefer for one thing after another to break rather than everything to break at the same time. I got my what was it, the hose to the heater or something like that fixed on mine the other day. Was what was broke on mine, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's why it's leaking. My mechanic goes, yeah, because for some stupid reason, he goes, for some stupid reason, GMC decided it was a good idea to put a plastic Y cover instead of like a rubber one or whatever. And I go, yeah, that sounds about right. That's kind of stupid. But luckily now my truck now has one with a my truck now has one with a metal uh Y piece. So we're at least good on that aspect now. But yeah, nothing really that major has happened yet on my truck, and I pray to God that nothing major happens for a long time because I don't think I could afford to get something major fixed on my truck. I'm not like everybody else. I don't have money rolling out of my pockets that I can go and spend on whatever I want. I do need some new brakes though. And here it comes again. Ma'am? What? You decide to do? Get rid of everything? What? Oh, you need to keep it. Oh, and that thing with that bag sitting in this pink thing? This bag sitting down on the pink thing. It goes in that box that you got right there. Yes, can you please get up and put these bags up there? Oh, applesauce out of here. Captain the dang bunny. Stop looking at me. Sit in there. Crap empty. Look at that. I know. I heard you. I mean, thank you. Thank you. Come on. Mom, it's going to right around in here. Guys, there's a possibility that I might have to postpone the whole Kahoot thing until tomorrow so that maybe I can get some peace. Because as usual, I'm having a little bit of fun, so everybody has to make sure to ruin that. Because I'm not allowed to have fun. And by everybody, I mean my mother. And yet the question has been asked why it is that I don't want to go into a house with her. Hmm, I don't know. My God. Yeah, you're gonna need your God in a minute. You keep running your damn mouth. That's right. And nothing's supposed to be said about it. You can get your ass off that day. Stay off of it. And you can try to tell them in the stress. Okay, well, guys, I told you I'd have to get off. Of course, it's for some other reason. So maybe I can do this